Hey golly chicks and golly gents, I pray that you all are having a wonderful December, a much better December than I am having or I have been having, but God is still good, God is still on the throne. But really quickly, I don't know if it's going to be really quickly. Y'all know I always say that, and then I end up being like 20, 30 minutes. So I'm saying really quickly, but there's probably going to be like a 25-minute video. I'm going to try to keep it under 30 minutes. So I'm watching the clock. But anyway, forgive me if y'all hear this foot thing. I got this foot thing from my job, baby, because your girl be standing up, and you're supposed to rub your feet on it, and it's supposed to like... get all the but get all the stuff going in your feet and helping you relax. So when I get off work, I rub my feet on this, and it feels so good. Look, I ain't got no husband yet to massage my feet, okay? So I have to rub my foot on this thing and just pray my strength in the Lord, okay, for tomorrow's shift. But anyway, okay. All jokes aside, I pray that y'all have been great. Nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and get into today's video. So today we are going to talk really quickly about God-ordained marriages. And then we're also going to dive into a little bit about what I feel the Lord is putting on my heart for us, because this is actually a dream that He wanted me to share with the body of Christ, with the godly chick, godly, gent family, all of us who are waiting on our God-ordained spouses to manifest or to come into our lives fully, to come fully into fruition, and just for things to come together, because some of us have been delayed. Some of us were supposed to already be together with our spouse earlier this year or last year, and it's just been demonic delays. And some of us were already supposed to have met our God-ordained spouses or being hooked up with them and in sync with them before the year is out. So it's a lot of things that the enemy is trying to do to delay us from getting our God-ordained marriages. Y'all know I always say that the enemy does not care about you being married. He will set you up with a demon from hell, a witch from hell, and will push you towards that. But when it comes to your God-ordained spouse, oh no, he gonna fight you tooth and nail. He gonna make them look bad. He's going to try to get into your head. He's going to try to do all these things to keep that marriage from happening, because he knows that if that God-ordained marriages happen and the kids that are supposed to be birthed come forth from out of that marriage and they're raised up in the Lord and set, the next generation on fire, and you and your husband or you and your wife are walking in the power of God and becoming more holier and blessing hundreds of thousands, hundreds, millions of people around the world with y'all love and your union and the power that y'all two carry and emerges together. He's afraid of that. He doesn't care about you getting married to anyone else but that person. And he will go out of his way to either try to delay it or to get you yourself to walk away from it in fear, in doubt, in anxiety, and not knowing what's going to happen about your future, and just saying, screw it, I'm going to go do my own thing, not waiting on God. Whatever he can get you to do to either delay your marriage and make it the process longer than what it has to be, send you demonic distractions, or just get you to give up altogether, like he tried to do me earlier this month and last month, when I was really battling. Just dark. Like, it was really dark for a while, for a couple weeks for me, and that's really honestly while I've been off social media. But nevertheless, we're going to get into this. So I had a dream, and I do believe that the Lord wants me to share this dream with people, because I waited. I may have had this dream about 10 to 12 days ago, and the Lord told me immediately, you're going to do a video on this. You need to release this dream. It's not just for you, but it's for the body of Christ, all of the single women and men who are waiting on their God-ordained spouse. It's not just about you. It's for them too, and you, because it's a spirit of delay that's trying to keep this stuff from happening. So the dream was beautiful, and I'm going to go ahead and get started and quit delaying. The dream was beautiful, but there were two parts of it that made it like, and it was from the Lord. The Lord spoke audibly to me in this dream. So even though those two parts were kind of like, what? It still was of the Lord, and he was letting me see the spirits that are trying to come up against what he's trying to do. So here's the dream. I was dating my husband, and we had been dating, y'all, in this dream maybe like 2 months. at most. And that's like me really just giving it a limit, because I feel like it was like shorter than that, but like a month and a half to 2 months. And he called me to come over to this big old house. And I don't know if it was his or what, but he was just like, hey, I want you to come over and spend the night with me. And I'm like, okay, sure, no problem. I go over, and his sister is up in this den on the second floor or something, second, third floor, this big den with this couch, this TV. And we're sitting in this den talking and laughing, hee ha ha. I'm on the floor, literally in the dream, on the floor, crying, laughing. And his sister's like, girl, you my girl. And we're just talking and we're laughing. Like this. And he was standing in the corner of the room, watching me interact, watching me laugh, watching me, my personality, watching everything else about me. And I feel like it was more of an observant. So this is for the women who, you're waiting. You don't even know that sometimes your husband could be watching you and you don't even know it, because he was literally like this in the corner watching my every move. So after this, he got to a point where he was done watching me. He said, I got to do this now. I got to do this right now. And I'm like, what is he talking about he has to do right now? And his sister said, oh, girl, don't worry about that. He ain't talking about nothing. We're laughing, we're talking. Girl, don't worry about my brother. He crazy. He ain't talking about nothing. So he's like, I got to do this right now. I got to go. I got to do this right now. And he runs out of this room and closes the door. So me and his sister, we're still laughing, talking, watching movies, like drinking our drinks, just laughing, having a good time. And I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. And before she could stop me from going, because she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. Like, girl. And I go outside of this room. And as I open up this door, there's flowers everywhere. His best friend, his brown-skinned best friend, is planning and doing all of this stuff. There's flowers, there's men and women running all over his house, running all over. And I'm like, what in the world did I just walk into? And his best friend pauses as I open the door and was like, I'm sorry, you weren't supposed to see this. You were supposed to be in the room, and we're supposed to be planning this for you without you knowing. So what my husband-to-be was saying in this dream was that I have to hurry up and marry her. I know, I've seen her enough. I've watched her enough. Everything about her, from her laugh, her goofiness, and I was literally myself, is what I really want to stress to all the women that feel like you may have to put on or something. No, ma'am. Be 100% yourself. Even now, y'all look, I ain't got no makeup on. Pray my strength. Y'all know I be coming on here without makeup. I'm gonna come on here glamorous one day. But nevertheless, the whole point is that I am 100% myself. How y'all see me online is truly the real Takaya. There is no person that I put a front. I just don't have time for it. It's too much that God has me to do for me to get on here and be like, oh, well, God is saying today. I don't have time for all that. It's just too much. It's too much. It's nerve-wracking. It's way too much. But anyway, be yourself. That is one of the main things that we have to stress, because it was in me being myself and him watching and observing me, even with interactions with his sister that could have been, interactions with other people, watching me, just everything about me, rolling around on the floor, laughing, cracking jokes. He was like, I got to do this now. And that is what he loved, not me pretending to be. He wasn't interested in that. He was interested in the real Takaya. So ladies, definitely be yourself, because just like my dream, your husband could be watching you and you don't even know that. And it's in being yourself that you will attract the person whose side you fit to. You're somebody's rib. But if you're out here pretending, he won't be able to recognize you. Like Eve, when the Lord brought Eve to Adam, he recognized her immediately. He said, this is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She should be called woman and she should be called Eve. And baby, he knew off top, because because she had come from him. She fit and matched with him so well. And she didn't have to pretend. All she had to do was show up and be herself and let God bring her to him at due time. That's it. But God had already molded her to fit him. It was already a done deal. She was his rib from the very beginning. But God was doing the finishing touches just like he was with Esther before he brought her to him finally. And that was it. And then they were together. They were married. Nevertheless, let me get back to this dream. So I walk out of the room and his best friend is like, you were not supposed to see this. And they're pretty much done setting up everything. Flowers, I mean, music going. It was just all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, what in the world is this? How did this house get transformed? It was such a big place that I feel like it was a building and not really his house. Even though he said come spend the night, it was like his house, but it was so big that it just had to be like a building / mansion. Like it was unreal almost, like, you know, some out of a movie. Never the Hallmark movie, right? But nevertheless, a Prince Hakeem kind of thing. Okay, let me stop. But nevertheless, she freezes and he flies down the stairs. Like I catch the tail end of his shirt and I'm like, what is going on? And she's like, Takaya, take this number 1. And your husband said, well, she didn't say your husband, but she said, you know, he said, go in order. And I'm like, and I look at the number 1 and I just started bawling. And at each number, it went from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Y'all, and this dream was so vivid. Like, it was just so vivid. And each number, it was like, baby, on this day is when we first had our date. Number 2, it was a song playing. This is the first song we danced to. And then he had somebody playing it on the violin. And then number 3, it was just unreal. It was like the best proposal. Like I was laughing at the number thing and I'm just like, really, God? Like when I woke up, I was bawling because I'm like, is that how he's gonna do it? But nevertheless, it was absolutely beautiful. At step number 3, he had a picture of us like at a trip. Step number 4, like it was something different. So it ended up, I want to say maybe 10 numbers or 15 or something. But when I got to, I'm lying, halfway through, my mom calls me on the phone and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm getting proposed to. That's what I wanted to say, but I didn't say it because I heard the Lord audibly say, do not tell her what is going on. If you do, there will be extra warfare. And I'm going to tell you why he said it. So when the Lord spoke this audibly to me, like from heaven in this dream, as I'm about to tell my mom, I'm getting proposed to right now. You just called in the middle of it, because I was going from number to number and I'm like, he's proposing to me. And I'm just bawling and all of that. And she calls and the Lord speaks audibly. And the reason he said this was, when I said, hey, Ma, I'm just chilling. What are you doing? There were 2 people on the phone who were not supposed to be there. And God was like, I don't want them to know. And my mom had 3-wayed me in, 4-wayed me. She called me. I was the 4th person and added me into the line. But the Lord revealed to me the 2 people. Of course, I'm keeping it to myself. But he revealed to me the 2 people that were on the phone that would have been eavesdroppers that he did not want to know anything about this. So when she hung up, I texted her and said, Mom, cover me in prayer. I think blah, blah is proposing to me right now. And she's like, oh my gosh. So she started praying for me and I'm crying. I'm picking up these numbers going from 7 to 8 to 9 to 10. And it's like I get to either 10 or 15. Can't remember exactly to the T how many numbers it was, but I get down there and it's downstairs at the end and it's just waterfalls and just music going, and my husband-to-be's family, everybody is around. My family wasn't there, but all of his friends and family were. And it was just absolutely beautiful. And I'm just bawling, bawling. And I got to the last number and he had it in his hand and he was like, Takaya, I just want to tell you that I love you so much. And since you came into my life, bleh, do y'all hear me? And he started throwing up and he started shaking like this and convulsing and being extremely sick in his head. And he just started doing all of that. So I took my hand And he got throw up all over him, from the top of his like shirt all the way down to his feet, as he was about to start professing his love to me and telling me how much he loved me and adored me and wanted to be with me and how happy he was and blah, blah, blah. So I put my hand on his stomach, walk over to him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, baby, what's going on? Like, are you okay? And I put my hand on him. And I started praying for him, and the spirit that came on him left immediately, and he shook back and he was like, what in the world was that? And it was an attack, as he's about to manifest and tell me his feelings. And I guess a symbol for coming forth and things like that into my life. This spirit attacked him, and where he was overcome with sickness and overcome with a fever and fear and anxiety because he was shaking in the dream. So I'm sure that that's probably a symbol for like anxiety or something. So all of these things came over him immediately. But when I put my hand on his belly and started speaking in tongues, you know, rabakasha, and praying for him, it left. I saw the spirit leave off of him, and he shook and he like snapped back into it. And he was like, what in the world just happened? And I'm like, you threw up? And he was like, oh my gosh. But when he saw that throw up was everywhere, that all of this, he said, no, we're doing this now. I'm not waiting another day. I'm not waiting another moment to marry you, to propose to you. Baby, I love you. We're doing this now. And I'm like, okay, okay. He's like, you're my wife. And I'm like, okay, baby, I'm your wife. I'm like, I'm your wife. I'm your wife. Ain't going nowhere. But anyway, he was like looking at me like, hey, nah, this is nah. I'm finna go upstairs and change, and I'm gonna be right back. We finna finish this today. No more delay. And I'm like, okay, for him to say that, no more delay. So as he's talking to his friend about to go change and get himself cleaned up, I immediately go into the kitchen and start making like a pot of chicken noodle soup, some cornbread, got some ginger, shot some lemon, stuff that I know that would make him feel better. And as I'm doing that, he has to pass the kitchen to go back upstairs. And he's like, you see how you take care of me? This is why I'm marrying you, girl. Like, I love you. And I'm like, okay. Like, he was really gangster. I'm sure that he's not like that in real life. But like, he was really like, yo, you my woman. Nah, we doing this. Like, he's like, this is why I'm marrying you, the way you take care of me, girl. So women, take care of your man, okay? Because baby, in this dream, he was just head over heels. He loved it. But anyway, that is something that I would naturally do. I would just be like, let me go in here and cook and get him some medicine and make, that is my personality. I take care of people. So I just thought it was so funny though, how he stood over me and like, this why I'm marrying you right now, would throw up all over him. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, baby, okay. So he ends up, y'all, I was crying and laughing and everything when I woke up. It was one of the most beautiful dreams I've ever had. So anyway, he goes upstairs, and while he's getting changed, I decide to go into this like living room on the bottom floor past the kitchen. So I'm sitting in this room with this like cream couch or something, and I'm waiting on him to come. And the room is like kind of dim lit, and it's like a beautiful decorations and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there waiting, and I can still hear the chefs and different people going. I got done making the chicken noodle soup and the cornbread. He's still upstairs showering, putting on some new clothes, getting ready to come back down. So he like, we finna finish his proposal. This is the strange part. This is the second thing that happened after the throw up. The throw up was the first strange thing, and this is the second one. So as I'm sitting here on this couch, dressed up in like, I had like white and gold on. And at first he was wearing another color, but when he came back down, he had on white and gold, and we both were matching. But don't let me get ahead. Before he comes back downstairs wearing the same thing as me, white and gold, this dark-skinned woman I've never seen before comes in. I truly think it's a spirit. But anyway, it had to be a spirit because it was just so demonic and so dark. I know this can't be a real person. I mean, it can be, but you know, it was like so dark and so demonic. I think that it could have just been like a representative of the spirit of seduction or distraction or Delilah or something, because it was so dark that I'm like, I find it hard to believe that's a person walking like that. And if that is, they need mass deliverance. But nevertheless, it was a dark-skinned woman coming in, and she had kind of had like some big curly hair or something. I don't know, kind of like a Diana Ross, kind of like curly hair, black and stuff, and kind of like an afro bead curly. Y'all know, ladies, how we wear it. And she had like a nice shape, but she was exposing herself, and she had on like some heels like this, but her breasts and stuff, different things were out, her butt and breast, and it was like kind of sequin and silk, like it was really raunchy. And she comes over to me. I'm trying to remember. All I remember is this dark skin with this big hair and kind of the outfit and the heels and stuff that she had on. But nevertheless, it's not important because, like I said, I truly believe this is a spirit. So nevertheless, this spirit comes over and she looks at me and she says, "So you're his wife? You're the one he's going to marry?" And she said it just like that, like really eerie. And I said, "Yeah, I am." And I'm like, "Father, hey, you know I'm hood. God, don't let this smile fool you, baby. Like, baby, you better get up out." You know what I'm saying? Baby, I'm about to get bucked. You know what I'm saying? Baby, Memphis style, baby, 901, what? But anyway, not me throwing the bus. I love forgive me. Look, I'm like, yo, this girl better get up out my face before I know something. But anyway, all jokes aside, I did feel, even, y'all, this dream just felt so real. And I'm almost at the end, but it just felt so real. It was unreal. Like when I woke up, I'm like, that was a dream. That's how real it felt, like I was there. And she comes and she says that and she does it. And I say, "Yes, I am." And she says, just like that. And she like she didn't even walk out the room. She slid almost kind of like a snake out of the room. And she had this black, dark, that's why I said it had to be a spirit. And this spirit had this black, dark trail behind it of just pure darkness. And I was glowing and just the light of God was on me. And when my husband came back down stairs, my husband to be came back downstairs, he was glowing as well and had been like renewed. Me and him both were renewed. We were glowing. We was both wearing white with gold trimming. I mean, just beautiful. He was fine. I'm beautiful. Like me now times 20. Like I was gorgeous. And smaller size. And he just was, he fine anyway. But anyway, so that is what happened. And when she left out of this room, it's almost like as he was coming down the stairs, she tried to talk to him. And he said, "Yo." You know, he turned like me. That's why I'm like, Lord, he is not like this in real life. But in the dream, he was like, "Yo, you got like a few seconds to get up out my face. That is my wife. That is who I'm marrying. And I ain't changing my mind. Like, get up out my face." That's really what he said to her, and I overheard. And he was like, "Baby, come here." Like he was just done. Like he was just get up out my face. He was hood. I'm like, I liked it. Okay, shoot, do your thing, daddy. But anyway, he was like that. And instantly, once this spirit departed and left this mansion house, whatever we were in, we were married. And he was baby this, wife that, wife. We were on everything. He had me on everything, posted pictures, just my wife, like we were married immediately. Like this was less than 3 months, y'all, from dating to engagement to it happened so quick. So the few things that I want to talk about, like I said before, and I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'm not going to be long now that I've told the dream. Y'all know I had to tell it with my little, dramatics and stuff. But that is exactly what I dreamed. And when I woke up and the Lord told me that I had to share it, I waited, almost 2 weeks because I had this dream maybe about 10, 12 days ago. I just wanted to make sure that this was the spirit of the Lord because I don't believe in doing anything without his leading and his guidance. So he was like, "Yeah, you're going to share this." So I waited. And when he kept Takaya, share the dream. I'm like, okay, this you. So I look like, baby, I like to wait. Nevertheless, I believe he wants me to share this because ladies and men, but I really want to focus on the ladies. Your husband could be watching you and you need to be yourself. That's the first thing. The second thing is when God spoke and said, "Do not share this with anybody or your warfare will be like intensified." You cannot speak about every little thing that God is doing in your life. I learned that a while ago. You just cannot. If you have a trusted friend, then maybe you can. I wouldn't even trust them because, baby, people fickle. But nevertheless, if you have a mother or somebody, like I was able to tell my mom once she hung up the phone and the other people were no longer listening, I was able to tell her. But I really would just keep it just between you, God, and maybe your parent or something. If you close to anybody outside of that, I just wouldn't deal with it, you know, because if a sister in the faith, somebody that you know that's got your back like that, because people are weird and people are fickle. So you don't want to be telling all your business to people who, you know, can turn on you the next day. Nevertheless, or take what you've given them and blurt it out to the world. Okay, so use wisdom, use discretion. So that's the second thing. The third thing is the delay. As my husband was about to manifest and tell his feelings to me, how he loved me, how he felt about me, he was attacked. And I had to pray for him for the attack to leave. So we cannot stop praying. I know that when we're going through, ladies, and we're single and we're weary and we're waiting on whoever it is that God has for us to manifest, the enemy tries to come with distractions and different things like that, and attacks, mental, physical. Like I told y'all, I've been in darkness. I've been crying. I just been dealing with so much depression. I have not even been able to barely pray for myself. So of course I don't pour out when I'm empty like that, when I'm sad like that, when I'm dark like that, because I don't want to taint, you know, the anointing or pour off into y'all something that just should not be. That's just not wise. So I usually isolate, and whenever I disappear, 9 times out of 10, if God doesn't have me on a sabbatical and I just randomly disappear, that's probably what's going on, is that I'm going through and I really be needing prayer at that time, because the attacks be attacking. But nevertheless, that is the third thing or fourth thing. I can't remember. I should have made a list. I'm just talking off the top of my head. And the last thing that we want to talk about is, that's what I was talking about. Continue to pray. Don't get off of your guard, because I know the enemy attacks, but it's just not a season where we can let our guards down. It's just not a season where we can say, oh, screw it. If he mine, he mine. I ain't got to pray no more, whatever. Or I'm finna start dating other people because I don't know what's going. It's just not the season for that. It's not going to probably ever be the season for that, because God already knows who he asked for us, and he already knows who he wants us to marry and why we need to be together. And the devil knows it too, and that's why he doesn't care about you marrying anybody else but your God-ordained spouse. Oh, he gonna fight you tooth and nail. And the fourth thing, the last thing, is the distraction. This spirit of seduction that came in as a last minute hoorah, is a last minute attack before you and your spouse are joined together. Now I looked up what throwing up meant, and I just don't believe that that's what it meant for me in this dream and for my husband, because it said your environment could be poisoning you and putting into you. So just say, for instance, if your husband is hanging around people and they're like, nah, you don't need to get married. You need to wild out. You need to go get some more, you know, women parts before you settle down, and you know, in marriage. And so if you have people around your husband, you may want to pray against that, and people who are evil or wicked who's trying to infiltrate them, and they're throwing it up because it doesn't belong in them. Now that's what the Christian dictionary said that I have that interprets dreams, but I just don't feel that, because when my husband said no more delay, I feel like that was an attack just to delay him, because we still got married, but he had to stop from proposing to me the first time, go up, get clean, come back down. Then this spirit came. Then once he denied this spirit, then we were married. So you see all these extra attacks. I don't believe it's really so much of an environment more than I believe it's a spirit of delay. So the last thing is the spirit of delay. So we are going to be praying about all 4 or 5 of those areas that I just listed tomorrow morning. So ladies and gents, make sure that you are attuned to this, because the prayer is going to be powerful. We're going to nip this stuff in the bud, because it is the season for us, for many of us who have been single, who have been waiting to walk into our God-ordained marriages. And I'm not just speaking out the side of my neck. This is an accurate prophetic word that the Lord wanted me to release along with this dream that I myself have had. But the Lord has already given me the title and the prophetic word for 2025. And he said it's the year of the rainbow. So when he told me that, I just been crying. I've been happy. And everywhere I've been seeing rainbows. Now I already been seeing them, but since the Lord told me that 2 or 3 days ago, it's been hiding. Like I had a lady check out today with a rainbow backpack. Another customer with a rainbow wrapping paper. I showed one customer a picture of my living room. We were talking about decorations, and she said, your living room reminds me of a rainbow. And I just looked at her like, what? Like today, like it's crazy. So God has just been confirming, hey, hurry up, get prepared, get ready. Have your lamp and your oil, ladies, and don't be like the foolish virgins who weren't ready when their bridegroom came. Amen. But nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I pray that this blessed you all. I pray that you will continue to cover your God-ordained wife for the men and God-ordained husbands for the women, because the attacks are attacking, and sometimes they can be severe, and you don't know what the other person is going through or what the enemy is trying to present to them to keep them from reaching you. So we come against the spirit of delay and all of that good stuff. But tomorrow morning, there's going to be a prayer posted. It's going to bless your life. It's going to be powerful. We're going to nip all this stuff in the bud. But like I said, we got to be watchful. We got to be prayerful, and we have got to cover our spouses because they could be going through just like we are, or even worse. Because like I said, y'all, it's been rough this past month and a half and a few weeks, baby. It's been rough. But I'm getting back on the up and up. I feel better. And, you know, we don't move by feelings. We don't move by how we feel. We go by faith. We go by the word of the Lord. If the word of the Lord has not changed, then we don't change. We have to be unmovable as a rock. So I love you guys. I pray that this video bless you. Please share it with someone else who is waiting on their spouse and they may not know exactly what's going on, and be looking out for the prayer that's going to be posted tomorrow morning. So I love you guys and gents. And always remember, when you know who's you walking with, it ain't hard to be a godly chick. I love saying that. But all right, ladies and gents, I'm gonna get out of here. Bye.
No, I'm a godly girl.